Okay?
Okay, and as I mentioned...
Just give us your name, where you live, and move
Right.
on.
Denise Rothheimer, I disclosed my address. I'm Lake County resident.
I know.
And I'm here to approach the board in light of the strategic plan that the board has adopted to guide the county and your pledge to deliver efficient and high-quality public services consistent with the community's values and priorities. Criminal justice is one of the 4 strategic initiatives the board agreed to prioritize. The Lake County Board allocated $105.2 million, or 27% of its annual budget, toward law and judicial services. More than 250,000 new cases are filed annually with the 19th Judicial Circuit Court, which includes criminal, civil, family, and traffic misdemeanor cases. As a strategic priority under criminal justice, Lake County is continuing to implement new criminal justice programs and enhancing existing ones, as well as to explore alternatives to incarceration. This includes working with criminal justice agencies to coordinate technology, augment programs like the drug and mental health courts, and probation. I would like the board to consider investigating the practice of plea deals by the state's attorney's office for reducing charges and accepting minimal sentences and/or probation for child sex offenders. I am here to offer my testimony based on my experience throughout the criminal justice process in 2003. On February 18, 2003, the Assistant State's Attorney entered into a plea agreement with the defense attorney.
Madam Chairman, this is redundant. We had this 6 months ago when she was running for office.
No, we did not.
Well,
That was the
don't-
too
you
young
don't
for
have to
justice.
argue. Go, just
Okay.
finish up.
On February 18, 2003, the Assistant State's Attorney entered into a plea agreement with the defense attorney without my prior knowledge and accepted the 6-year minimum for the rape of my daughter, then 11 years old. I asked the Assistant State's Attorney why she agreed to accept the minimum of 6 years, and she told me I was not a lawyer and she didn't have to explain the law to me. I knew the 6-year sentence was inappropriate because the detective at the police department said, based on my daughter's statements of the facts, that the defendant should receive at least the minimum of 15 years.
She did.
Then the detective explained the legal definition of penetration concerning minors 13 and under. Prior to the prosecutor's opening statement, I had approached the bailiff and asked him if he could let the judge know I disagreed with the Assistant State's Attorney's plea to accept the 6-year minimum prison sentence. While the Assistant State's Attorney made her opening statement, she started out by saying that if called and sworn to testify, witnesses would testify that on the date in question, that on August of 2001, the victim in the case that evening had been out and had been given alcohol by an individual in the neighborhood. She arrived home to the house where her cousin and the defendant, which is her other cousin, lived, that at that time the defendant gave the victim some additional alcohol, including some hard liquor. Also present was a minor female cousin of the victim. Okay, now I told you I have someone who's going to take the second half.
Your time's up.
All right, did you want to take the second half, Quentin?
No.
No. And I don't have a sign-up sheet. I do not have a sign-up sheet.
You have to sign the yellow page.
All they're going to do is...
You know,
is
we did hear all this. I just let you finish yours because you were already started. I do not want to, this is the same stuff that we talked about for months.
Well, I just
When you
wanted
guys-
to raise awareness of the common practice of plea deals by the state's attorney's office.
And I'm more than happy to look into that, to tell you the truth. But we had discussed all this prior to this meeting. And I think you guys, you've gotten your stuff said now, and I want to thank you for coming, but we're done.
Okay, will we be able to then meet and...
No. You don't?
Over the last few months, we have allowed members from the National Rifle Association and their associates to attend our meetings and speak.
And you cut them off.
And I've cut them off.
I'm sorry, but please, multiple times about the same subject. They have not been cut off. They have been allowed to speak.
Excuse
I have
me?
said here when people have spoken more than once.
I'm sorry, Bob, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I have not cut people off?
Yeah.
I have not cut people off? Then you weren't at the same meeting I was running.
Up there and screamed about
All right.
First Amendment rights.
You know what? We don't have a lot of time to. I want to see the president get sworn in today. Okay?
I want to make sure that we listen to the people that have the right to address us.
Well, we have, and we've heard all this. And it's the First Amendment.
From the NRA over and over.
Bob, I'm not going to argue with you. You need to look at those tapes then, because I certainly cut people off. And I was here too, and I think the rest of the board was. And it is redundant. I let her finish. I do not want to go over and over these same issues again and again and again.
Okay,
Okay.
are we going to be able to conduct an investigation into these cases
Excuse me,
then?
ma'am. I'll talk about it later, not at this point.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a
Sheila may have to spoke before this.
Pardon?
Sheila may have to spoke
I just have
before.
a very brief statement. Can you do it?
We've got his statement.
Is that okay? It'll be about 20 seconds.
Madam Chairman, these are regarding elected officials. It's against our board rules, and it's
Right.
redundant.
I would be more than happy to take your written comments and read them and do whatever I feel we need to do. Okay? I'll be happy to do that.
If I may please step up.